Let's go. Vayanio Vayomar, Iyov's second friend. Bildad said to him yesterday, "You are a bad, bad man. Evil follows. Don't tell me that the good live good lives. Evil follows them and is all around them." And Iyov responds, Ad Ana, Tugyun Nafshi Uni Vamilim. How long will you grieve my spirit and crush me with words? Eser Pa'amim Tachlimuni Lo Tevoshu Takru Li. Time and again, you humiliate me. Are you not ashamed of your abuse? Viaf omnam shagiti, iti talin meshugati. And yes, I have made mistakes. I have erred, as we all have. But my error remains with me. I'm not sitting here criticizing you. Im omnam alai tagdilu v'tochichu alai cherpati. Though you are overbearing towards me, though you rebuke me with my disgrace. And in the past, we saw, and Iyov has fought back, and we talk about ping pong and back and forth between him and his friends. But in the past, he said, if I was in your place, I'd probably say the same thing. Here, he's not saying that. Here, he's saying, the way you have treated me, the way you have spoken to me, the way you have acted towards me is terrible. We're in verse 6. Efo ki Eloha ivtani umitsudo alai hikif. I want you to know that God has wronged me. God has sinned. God has done incorrectly to me. He's thrown up a mitsuda, which here it could be a trap or a siege, right? He's thrown up a trap. He's thrown a trap all around me. Hein etzak chamas velo e'aneh. Ashava ve'ein mishpat. I say Hamas, violence, horror, and there's no answer. I shout, Ashava, but there's no justice. It doesn't matter what I do. Or chi gadar velo evor vi'al netivotai choshech yasim. He's barred my way, right? He's closed me in. I'm in a geder. I'm in a fence. I can't pass through. He's put darkness in my path. What did he want? Remember, we've talked about many times. He wanted to go back to the time of Choshech, back to the time of darkness. But now he wants a court case with God. He wants somebody to stand up. He doesn't want his blood covered for no reason. He doesn't know if he's going to get it, so he's even asking others. But here seems again to be moving away from that desire of death. He's not asking for darkness. God has laid darkness upon my path. Kavodi me alai hifshit v'asar ateret roshi. Strip me of my glory. He removed the crown from my head. I don't think Iyov is saying here I was so wealthy, I was like a king, but just any sort of dignity and respect. Yitzeni saviv ve'elach vayasa ke'etz tikvati. Tears down every part of me. I perish. He uproots my hope like a tree. Vayachar alai apo ve'achshiveni lo chitzarav. He kindles his anger against me. He regards me as his enemy, as a foe. Yachad yavo gedudav v'yasolu alai darkam v'yachanu. Saviv la'ohali. What happens together? His gedudav, his army, his troops, they're marching, they're advancing towards me. They have a whole road, a whole encampment all around my tent. Achai me'alai herchik v'yodai achzaru mimenu. He alienated my family, my kin from me. My acquaintances disowned me. So is this in addition to his children who are dead? Is it others who he has been alienated from because everybody looked at him and said, this must be a bad man? If these things, is it people just saying he obviously has bad luck, superstition, we're going to stay away from him? My acquaintances, maybe he's referring to his friends here, the 3 friends who've come to visit him, who don't seem like that. They've disowned me. Chadlu krovai umiyudai shechechuni. My relatives are gone. My friends have forgotten me. And we've seen this in earlier books. In Mishlei and other books, it talks about, the people who are wealthy, the people who have lots of money, the people who have lots of brilliance, they have lots of friends. But now Iyov doesn't have the 10 children. He doesn't have the great wealth. He doesn't have all those things. And so where is he? He's been forgotten. Continuing in verse 15. Gare veti ve'amhotai lezar tachshevuni nochri hayiti ve'enehem. My dependents and my servants regard me as a stranger. I am an outsider to them. La'ovdi karati velo ya'aneh. Bimo fi etchanen lo. I summon my servant, but he doesn't respond. I must entreat myself towards him. Ruchi zara ishti v'chanoti livni vitni. My odor is repulsive to my wife. I am loathsome to my children. Obviously, he doesn't have children anymore, as far as we know. They have passed away. Maybe he blames himself. Maybe he thinks his children blame himself for what's gone wrong. His wife, we saw a little tension in the first chapter because he doesn't curse God. I am all alone, Iyov saying. Not only am I suffering, but I am suffering alone. Gab, in verse 18, Avilim asuvi akuma vayidabruvi. Even youngsters disdain me. When I rise, they speak against me. This was a place, a time when people had respect for people older than them in a way that maybe the world doesn't have in the same way today. Tiavuni kol mitei sodi v'zeh ahavti nefchuvi. All of my closest friends of my youth, the ones who know my sod, the ones who know my secret, what am I? Tiavuni, like toeva. I'm like an abomination. They detest me. Those I love have turned against me. They have been mahapech. Be'ori uvivsari dovkatzmi ve'et malta be'or shinai. My bones stick to my skin and stick to my flesh, right? I have no fat on me. I escape with the skin of my teeth. Chanuni, chanuni, atem re'ai. Kiyad Eloha nagami. Right? And here is the main thing in this chapter. This is less this chapter. Yes, he said God has treated him incorrectly, but here he summarizes what it's all about. He's speaking to his friends. Atem re'ai, you, my friends. Chanuni, show me some kindness, show me some pity, show me some mercy. Enough explaining to me all the things that I have done wrong. God has struck me down, and I need you to help lift me up. Don't tell me to return to God. I don't want to return to God. I see God as vindictive, and being too close to God has caused me trouble and pain. Lama tirdefuni chemoel umibsari lo tispa'u. Why do you pursue me like God, maligning me insatiably? Now, you can't punish me. I mean, you could, but you might pay some consequences in the aftermath. But you are pursuing me in a way, a similar way of causing me pain, emotional pain. If only my words can be written down. If only they could be inscribed in a record. Perhaps, we look at verse 23 here as perhaps inspiration, as a specific verse towards Steven Spielberg, the Shoah Project, others. Write down the testimonies, the stories of people who went through hell and the difficulties so that it does not happen again. Don't ignore it. And that's what Iyov says here. He can't depend upon his friends writing down his story. They disagree with his story. They disagree with the version of his events. And so and maybe he doesn't have a pen and paper anymore. Maybe his hands don't work. He's got boils all over his body from his head down to his feet. Be'et barzel va'ofaret la'ad batsur yechatzvun. Incised on a rock forever with an iron stylus and lead, right? He doesn't just want pen and paper. He wants it etched into stone. We have the Rosetta Stone, and we could have the Job Stone. That's what he wants. Vani yadati goali chai v'acharon alafar yakum. But I know that my vindicator lives. In the end, he will testify on earth. In the last chapter, he made it sound like he knew that it wasn't going to happen. But now he's saying that he believes it's going to happen. Who is this vindicator? Is he referring to God? Is he referring to the Satan? Is he referring to another person? It's not clear. This, after my skin will have been peeled off, but I would behold God while still in my flesh. Right? He knows his skin. He's suffering, and he knows death is going to come to him. But he knows that ultimately he's going to have his day in court with God. He still believes it. Asher ani achazeli v'einai ra'u v'lozar kalu chilyotai v'cheki. I myself, not another, would speak to God, would see with my own eyes. My heart pines within me. Ki tomrun madir daflo v'shoresh davar nimsabi. You say, How do we persecute him? The root of the matter is in him, right? That's what you seem to say to me. Guru lachem mipnei cherev ki chemat avonot charev laman teidun shadun. But, you should be fearful. You should be fearful of the sword, for the fury, for the iniquity worthy of the sword. No, there is judgment. That's what you are saying to me. You're saying to me, these things are happening. It's the iniquity, it's retribution. You've done things wrong. And that's why this is happening to me over and over again. The cherev, you deserve it. But that's not the reality of Iyov's life, right? He's being persecuted. And again, we know, and we've said this many, many times, that he is correct in everything that he's saying. And so here, to his second friend, it's a speech that has a little bit still of that feistiness and that desire to go to court, the desire to stand in front of God. And there is some sense of belief that it will happen. But we see here really how alone he is, how disappointed he is, how the people that he helped, the people that he employed, everybody is far away from him. Nobody is with him anymore. It's an extremely, extremely difficult chapter in terms of Iyov's sense of self and that sense of being all alone. And this is not Iyov saying, I isolated myself because I was having depression and difficulty and a lack of success and blah, blah, blah. And I put myself in a corner and I didn't have anybody come and visit me. I'm here. You guys are right in front of me. And even with that, I'm all alone. And there's a lot sort of indicated in this chapter in terms of the way people are treated, the way people who are out of favor, the way the people who are out of luck are treated, and to, not pretend that they don't exist anymore because they're not the person of great power and influence that they were before. And when somebody falls upon hard times, as we've seen many times in this book, your friends are whom you can depend on, or you should be able to depend on. We saw it in the last book, in the book of Mishlei, where Shlomo says sometimes a great friend is better than, right? A close friend is better than a distant brother. And Iyov here is very, very disappointed by his friends, by everybody else, for leaving him alone and for seeing him as a sinner and somebody who can't be trusted. And he just hopes and prays and seems to have some assurance in this chapter that his day will come when he will prove his innocence. Eventually will happen. Wants it to be written on, etched in stone forever. So eventually the time will come. When will it happen? Well, the book is read regularly. So I guess it happens all the time.